our very first week of camp, you really come in and the first question you get answered right away is, are we in shape? And that's something, our young guys, freshmen, they'll try to get ready for. But until you go through college football, you don't really know what it's like. But our older kids, when they go home for the summer, they understand, what the conditioning test, they might not know what it is, but they at least have an idea of the level of conditioning that it takes in order to, be successful and to be able to contribute right away. So that's really the first major part of the physical aspect of camp for us is right away just seeing the conditioning level, because football wise it's in a sense kind of slow when you start out. It's going back over some day one stuff. Our installs are a little bit slow in a sense that the kids are really just reviewing. And for the freshmen, it's a lot of information that first week of camp. Our entire playbook is within about a week and a half into camp. So the mental part of it is pretty exhausting for those guys as well. But that first week for our guys, it's just coming in and kind of getting your feet wet again and a refresher of what college football is like. Yeah, we do. We mix it up a little bit. One thing as a coach, you're always trying to adapt and change, and so we do a little research on our end too to see what some other programs are doing. Some things that work, some things that don't. The worry with the conditioning test coming in is always the injury aspect. You want to make sure you're able to test them, but we're also understanding that you're never in football shape until you get here and go through it. So we want to have an idea of where they are, but also not just destroy their bodies the first day and cause hamstring issues and things like that can hurt us down the road in camp. So the upperclassmen, they never quite know what's coming, which is something we do on purpose. That's kind of that mental challenge when you come in is not knowing what that conditioning test is and figuring out how to beat it when you go through it. I'm especially the conditioning portion. I'm watching my evaluation across the board on effort. That's what I want to see. We have coaches that'll be in certain lines, whether it be a certain session, they're looking at times or making sure we're touching the line, attention to detail. Everybody kind of has a job that they're looking for. For me, I'm evaluating in those moments. Can I trust that guy on Saturday? And what does a conditioning test show you? It shows you how hard a kid is willing to fight. At the very end of that conditioning test, he might be, beating it and he's 5 seconds ahead of time. Does he still run through that line and give you everything he has through completion, or does he pull up early? Because when it comes to Saturday, we want kids that are going to fight every single second, every single moment. They're going to put everything they have on the line for this team, and that's something the conditioning test and conditioning in general, that's something you see, and that's something that I personally evaluate out of all of our kids throughout that portion. The element of fun are all business. I would say the good teams, I think, have a little bit of both. If you look at our approach last year, it was specifically on purpose all business. And we kind of knew that coming in with where we were roster-wise, that it had to be that type of mentality with where we were. A focus for us is understanding, and something we talk about as coaching staff is knowing, football's still a game. It's still kids that got into playing football when they're, 6, 7 years old playing Little League because it's fun. And we want to make sure, as much as this is business, that we let the kids enjoy it, and let them unwind. We have some team building activities that we have built, whether it be in practice or truly off the field, some surprises in store for them that they don't even know about yet, but it's to kind of lighten it up a little bit. It's business truly when it has to be, and most of it is. At the end of the day, I get judged on, and my wife and kids eat on whether or not we win and lose. I mean, that's part of it. But I think for us to be effective as coaches, we've got to understand, the athletes, as much as they love it, they have limits, on the time that goes into it and how much they can take. So we really try to focus on certain sessions being fun. I will tell you that the thing that we let them know up front is, in order to get those fun moments and have that enjoyment, you got to work for that. It's no different for us than you want to enjoy Saturday when that game's over. You got to work for it. So it's the same thing for us. The same thing we do throughout the week is, if we're not working hard, then we're not going to have a reward day. We're not going to take them and go do something fun if we're not working. But if we're doing our job, we feel like practice is going well and the kids are really putting in a lot of effort, well, that's when it's a great time to give them that positive reinforcement for their actions. The biggest thing we're answering questions. That's what this week is about, is it's answering questions. And every coach across America is going to tell you this time of year, no spot solidified and everybody's battling. Well, there's always an element of truth to that, but there's also an element of, I'd be lying to sit here and tell you certain positions aren't pretty much solidified and we're just trying to get those kids better, right? So our true goal is to really answer some questions on some positions that we still have open. Quarterback is a huge question mark for us this year, and that's something we have to get answered throughout camp. There are some offensive line positions that are question marks. How exactly our linebacking core is going to be structured. Those are question marks. So you go into this week knowing what kind of team you have, and we know we're older than last year. We know we're more experienced. We know we have a lot of players in good positions, and I think as an overall team, I feel better about this group right now than I did our team last year. But keep in mind, we still have 4 weeks to prepare, and a lot of things can happen in those 4 weeks. And you have questions that you have to get answered. You have, things out of your control with injuries that if that happens, you better, find the next kid in, plug them and play them. And for us, the biggest challenge is that consistency. From watching us last year, there were times we came out and played incredibly well. I mean, look, one Saturday to the next, we might look like a different team because of that consistency in our mindset more than anything else. That's what our challenge is to our kids. Can we be consistent? In our sport, you might go one practice, we have 5 guys up front ready to play offensive line-wise. You might lose 2 guys in one practice. Well, we don't just cancel the season and cancel practice the next day. The next guy's up. That opportunity now, it's yours to shine, and we have to have that across the board with those kids coming out, showing that consistency in every aspect and being ready to go no matter the challenge. I think if we feel good about that now, but who you are September 3rd, I don't know yet. We'll figure that out and we'll answer those questions throughout these next 4 weeks. So this camp, that's the biggest thing we're looking for. And as an alumni, given that message to alumni is to be excited to see, above all else, a hungry football team come September 3rd. That's what we're working towards. I can't ever speak to, I feel good talent-wise, but what our team is going to be that day, I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of time in between there to figure that out. But our goal is to make sure, no matter who's on the field, we're the hungriest football team that you've ever seen come September 3rd. So that's our goal, and that's what we're going to continue to work for this camp.